Welcome back. So as part of Databricks Certified Associate Developer Spark certification course that we are looking, so we are in the topic 19th, so that is data frame aggregation using group by operation. So before proceeding, if you are new to this channel, we would recommend you to please subscribe and also press bell button for instant notifications. So let's get started. So we would recommend you to please pause here for a minute and go through this. So if you're already aware of this, you can feel free to skip this slide. So in this video, we will see how to aggregate aggregation. You all know if you have worked in SQL, so aggregation like count, sum, average. So these are all aggregation functions, right? So when you do aggregation, you have to use a group by functions in SQL. Similarly, here also we are using a group by function for aggregations. So how do we do that in Spark SQL? Spark data frame. So that we will see here, and also what is the concept of what is the concept behind actually behind the scenes, how the aggregation works. So and what exactly the concept of shuffle and what is its limitation. So that we will see a little theoretical aspect of it as well, right? So let's quickly jump to the practicals of it. And as you can see, we have taken a web sales data frame here. And when I do a print schema, so we'll be able to see what are the columns and its respective data types, right? So now, as our intention is to understand how do we apply the group by operations, right? So that is aggregation operation. Basically, before doing that, so there are a lot of columns here, so we would not need all of the columns, right? So basically, we will take few of the columns and write into some child data frame here, right? So we'll make some data frame, right? And we have a web sales data frame, right? Web sales df dot select expr. So this is a function I'm using to basically to take the only the required columns and alias them. So there are a lot of columns. We don't need all of those columns. So I'm just taking the customer ID here, which is bill customer SK. I'm making aliasing it as customer ID, and sales price. That means each customer how much sales per transaction he has done. So that is a sales price, right? So only these two columns I'm selecting. So this is what I would need for the aggregation to demonstrate the aggregation and group by function, right? Group by operation. So I'm just taking those into a child data frame. So once I have that in a child data frame, so I'll be able to show that. So now we can see once we display this child item, that is child data frame, so it shows only the customer ID, and for each customer ID, so there might be a multiple transaction, and each multiple transaction has its own sales price, right? So now we want to perform a aggregation, right? To see for each customer, right? So what is the sales that he has done? So sales price is 38, right? So how many such transactions he has made, and what is the aggregated value of that transactions that a particular customer has done. So like that, we want to get all the list of customer and their respective sales price, right? So to do that, so we will have to take the customer data frame again. I mean the child data frame that we have already created. So we'll take this data frame, and this is important to understand. So we will use group by function here, right? And group by. So what is the group by? We need to have a key here. So the key that we are using is customer ID, because that is where on top of that only we want the aggregation, right? So and then there is a AGG, that is the aggregation function, and then we open the parenthesis. We call it as aggregation based on what, right? Aggregation based on sum of sales price. So sum of sales price is my aggregation value, right? Sum of sales price, and the key is customer ID. So this is how. And if you want, we can pretty much alias this value, right? dot alias. I can make it as total sales, right? And then dot show to just display it. So you can use display or I can use show. So let us see how exactly it shows here, right? So as you can see for each customer, right? So the customer ID 30421 has the total sales, this value, and respectively all clients, all customers, each customers, and it's how much sales they have done in total, right? So that is what the aggregation does. So yeah, in like similarly, you can do a lot of operations, right? Instead of sum, you can use count, right? Instead of count, you can have average, right? So what is average sales, right? Just replace with EVG, and you can just here also you can mark it as EVG, average sales, right? So you will get the aggregated value based on the for each customer what is the average that he has done. So this is quite simple, right? So as you can see for each customer there's an average coming up. So this is quite simple how we apply. So it's just a syntactically it is different, but conceptually it works similarly how the SQL programming does this operations, right? So the conceptually it is exactly the same. Syntactically we need to understand from the exam point of view or certification point of view. So how do you do that, right? So the syntax is important. The group by, right? When you do a group by, you will have to give a key dot group by, right? So this is a dot group by, and the second part of it is based on what column. Here, based on what column you are giving the key. So group by key, and when you give AGG, we need to give the average or any kind of a function that you want to aggregation function that you want to use, average, count, sum, whatever, and then based on what column. So then if you need an alias, so we need to give that alias within this AGG function only, as you can see, and then do dot show to display it. So now we will understand how exactly behind the scenes this operation looks from the Spark cluster point of view or Spark. So when we were executing the code, right, what exactly happened was so we had a customer, right? So we have a customer ID and whatever the sales he has done, the amount of sales he has done, maybe in terms of amount, right? So what is the amount of sales he has done for each customer? What is the sales? So here similarly you can see you can consider this as a customer ID and the sales, the amount of sales that he has done, right? And so this is the data that is being stored in the backend, and as you can see the data is stored in a distributed way. So node 1, node 2 has data stored in a distributed manner, and customer 1 data might be stored in node 1 and node 2, spread across different nodes, right? And also in different partitions. As you can see, this is in node 1 we have two partitions, first partition and second partition. Similarly, in node 2 we have another two partitions. So it necessarily not be all the customer data is stored in a one partition, right? It might be, see, the customer 3's data is stored in node 1 second partition, and it is stored in node 2 first partition. So it's basically spread across. And if you want to perform any aggregation value, right? So logically you have to bring the data near to the uh, uh, near to each other so that you can perform that aggregation values. So if not, it is practically not possible for the such operations. So that is why if you see in the background what's happening here, right? So in the background, immediately whenever the aggregation operations are applied or executed, so the first step before applying the aggregation, so the first step actually what happens is so it will actually move the data from the one partition to another partition, so that so whatever the key that you are using, the key that you are using is ID, right? So all the data which are pertaining to one particular ID comes in a party in one partition, or at least physically which is nearby partition. Suppose here it is 1 1, right? So there is no other space. Like here 2 2 is there, and another 2 there is here, so it doesn't have any space, so it is moved to the different partition, but that is fine. But whatever is possible, right? So uh, possibly whatever possibility is there, so that much near physically the data has to be bought so that the operation can be performed. So basically maybe yeah, so that's exactly what it looks like, right? and so in the behind the scenes, as you can see, this is what's happening here is data is getting shuffled between the different partition and different nodes also. So the node 1 partition data is coming from first partition to the node 2 second partition, whatever. So we can see there are many shuffles are happening, so that the data pertaining to one particular ID, so it'll be in the um, in physically it will be in the nearest possible uh, nearest possible data partition, so that it can easily perform that operation. So the next step actually what happens is it starts the aggregation. So once it now the shuffling happens. So this is called reshuffling, right? So shuffling happens, and the next step is where actually the group by happens, right? So now it can easily group by. So this is one group, this is another group, this is another group, and it can make 20 plus 48, 45 plus 20, 48 plus 40, 45, whatever. So it can easily aggregate the values. So in this case, so shuffling is the first step. Shuffling should happen, and then only the group by will happen. So this is a process of shuffling, right? And so shuffling need not be only for this operation, right? It can be for other operations as well. Suppose if you are using a distinct, if you are using a count, if you are using a join operation, right? If you are using um, any such operations, so the shuffling does happen. It is not just for the sort by or like uh, not just for this operation where we are actually doing aggregation. It can even happen for sort by or order by also, right? So this is the first step where exactly it happens, and so this is very costly operation. Shuffling is a very very intensive networking intensive operation, because the data is getting exchanged between nodes and different partitions, and you can imagine like the millions of rows and are getting shuffled. So what kind of network intensive operation this might be, right? So now aggregation behind the scene, what happens is, as you can see, like we are from parent data frame, we are deriving a child data frame, and that is what we are using by a group by function. Once we apply group by function, you write it to another child data frame. What we have seen is the narrow transformation. In the previous videos, we have seen narrow transformation. That means it is like one to one. So the one partition data is actually is being fed to another partition data. It is very straightforward, right? So, so here it is not that the case, because if you are doing any column aliases or anything such operations, right, or filter operation for that matter. So in that filter option operation, so that doesn't need shuffling, because it goes to each partition, it gets the data at a higher level, and it will just filter the data in each partition independently, and it can give. But here that operation cannot happen independently without shuffling, because the data can be spread in different partition in different nodes. It has to be shuffled, right? So group by is that kind of operation. Similarly, we have like a distinct, count, join, partition, right? So like departition operations. So all such operation are memory intensive operation, and it this operation has to be very carefully applied when you are applying, because we know that this is a networking uh, very impactful operation in terms of networking, and also it can consume a lot of memory while processing the data, and also it might be time consuming, especially if the data is it depends, right? If the data is shuffled very in different nodes, and also if the data volume is huge, so in that case it can be a network intensive operation. So this is all about aggregation function, and so this is what we call it as a like a wide transformation. This is not a narrow transformation, because this is like widely spread. The data is widely spread here, so that is why we are calling it as a wide transformation. So this is wide transformation. And if it is a filter operation where it is one to one, right? So that is a narrow transformation. So all these kind of operations that we discussed, so this is comes under the wide transformation. So hope this was useful, and this is one of the again one of the important topic from the certification point of view. So hope it was